first place. I've been playing basketball, whether organized or recreationally, for the last 11 years, and I've never gotten tired of any of the stats or information that's come along with the game. I've made it have to keep track of these stats, accolades, information, trades, or anything otherwise to do with any professional level team, as this is something that piqued my interest at a particularly young age. Today, I will be educating you guys on the short history of the U.S. men's Olympic basketball team, as well as many of the outrageous accolades that they've achieved.
You might have to turn it on. Slide it on the side there.
Oh, I see it.
Sorry.
So, for the origins of the organization, as I previously mentioned, the U.S. joined the Olympics in the year 1936, and as soon as they joined, they had a complaint. So, there was actually a thing called the height rule, saying that if you were above the height of 6'2", you were not allowed to participate in the Olympics because it was an unfair advantage for other teams. So the U.S. complained because their main advantage was that they had a 6'8" and a 6'10" player, which allowed them to work the ball inside and score better. Basketball courts are not the wood courts that are in indoor buildings as we know now, but they were actually outdoor courts that were made of clay and sand. And so during the championship game of this 1936 Olympics, there was actually a rain delay because it rained so much they would try to bounce the ball and it would stick into the material on the court. So they had to wait until it dried out. And there's also a local connection, as 2 players on this team were from Wichita State and one was from Kansas Wesleyan. The U.S. was pretty dominant until the year 1968, where they lost to both Yugoslavia and the USSR in a FIBA tournament. However, they still won the Olympics in this year. But in 1972, this all completely changed during the championship game. So the U.S., with 3 seconds left, made 2 free throws to put them up by 1 against the USSR, and the clock expired. However, the FIBA president, sitting in the crowd, came down and reset the clock 3 different times until the USSR made the game-winning layup and eventually won. The U.S. protested this. However, the FIBA Commission said that the FIBA president was correct in his standing, and the U.S. simply would not accept their silver place medal. And so this inspired the amateur loophole to be changed. And this man right here, his name is Borislav Stankovic, and he was the main secretary of FIBA at the time this rule occurred. So the amateur rule stated that all players that participate in the Olympics must be of amateur status, meaning that they must be either high school age or college age players and not professional. What the USSR, as well as many other countries, would do is they would take their professional basketball players and change their status from, a basketball player to either being a worker or a soldier or any other kind of common job in order to give them an unfair advantage against other teams. He recognized this and decided that that was the reason why they won their championship, and this was completely unfair, leading to the 1992 FIBA rule change saying that all professional level athletes in any sport, at any level of the Olympics, can now compete, leading to what the U.S. called the Dream Team. According to the United States Olympic and Paralympic Museum, the Dream Team was the best basketball team ever assembled in any facet of the game, meaning that they could be any NBA team, any international team, any Olympic team, any organized form of basketball, this team could be. They won every game by at least 30 plus points, and there were some times where they would actually put in their worst players, tell the other team exactly what they were going to do, and then still score. This team consisted of legends such as Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Charles Barkley, Patrick Ewing, the list just goes on and on. This is actually the most popular team in Barcelona at the time, as they are one of the only Olympic teams to ever refuse staying in the Olympic Village. Instead, they said that they were better than the teams that they were going to play against and opted to stay in their own hotel in Barcelona, which led to many people crowding outside of the museum at all hours of the day. And I think it said that it was around 3,000 calls were made to this hotel in order to try to get a room, but they rented the whole hotel, expecting this. Now, the U.S. Olympic team has had a significant impact on international development of players as well. This player up here, his name is Luka Doncic, and he's from the country of Slovenia, which is not a very big basketball-focused country. However, due to everybody kind of wanting to chase the U.S. in terms of basketball excellence, he has now been pumped out of that country into the NBA and is considered a top 5 player in the NBA today. There are other players such as Steve Nash, Dirk Nowitzki, and many others that were international players that came to the U.S. as a result of U.S. Olympic basketball. For some of the recent accolades of the U.S., as I previously mentioned, they won first place last time the Olympics took place in 2020, and they have also won first place the last 4 times in the Olympics. However, The gap by which they've been winning by has been slowly decreasing every year, leading to other countries, feeling like they have an advantage to catch up. Today, I gave you guys a very short history on the U.S. Olympic men's basketball team, as well as the many outrageous accolades they've achieved and the impacts that they have had on other countries. The U.S. has always been viewed as the pinnacle of basketball excellence. However, this gap is closing as other countries start to catch up and further their development with basketball. Thank you.